Norji Chimbo, so the Nyingma Yas on the Molam Chimbo, Abjata Pakertan, Sandu Hirmado, Tumba Tuji, Chanla Kishan, Sir, Shom and Chuji, and Jipodana, Tisum Sanji, Kinjing, when you're on some Churgun, some tons. So, Manam like Kishan, Sir, correcting your motivation. Then a little bit teaching, and then we are going to take Bodhisattva Vow, I believe, today. I thought it would be good to have Bodhisattva Vow. Now it is time for you take the Bodhisattva Vows. So I want to address the Mahayana Buddhist people of this 37 group. Mahayana, I believe you are practicing the teaching of Mahayana. So I want to also clarify the concept of the Bodhisattva Vow. So, very happy for you, for us, for this group, Mahayana Buddhist 37 group. Very happy for you because if you are ready to take the Bodhisattva Vow today, you're going to, which means you will become a member of Bodhisattva family. And that means you will become a child of a Buddha. But before we begin to take the vows, let me say a few words about Bodhicitta. Usually, you know Bodhicitta. I'm not going to teach you today how to practice Bodhicitta. Of course, you know that. So, but just want to say a few things about Bodhicitta. Teachers said that in difficult times, when there is unkindness, selfishness, loneliness, greediness, and etc., it is only bodhicitta that can heal those problems. You know, right? So these are the most, the bodhicitta practice is solution for those problems. Unkindness, selfishness, it's very common, this problem. So that's why teachers say that to keep bodhicitta mind is your most precious position so that you can remember bodhicitta mind constantly, every day. How many times do you remember bodhicitta mind a day? Teachers used to say that, the student need to remember their root teachers very constantly every day. They say that, right? So when I think about it, many years ago, maybe like 2 times a day, I remember my teacher. Oh, that's not enough. You have to, the best is you can't forget your teachers, right? That's similarly, you cannot forget bodhicitta mind every day, and maybe within 1 hour, so you can remember bodhicitta mind maybe 100 times. That's very important. So, I think really your main practice should be meditation on bodhicitta mind. Because that's the essence, right? So because basically ordinary people, love and compassion are based on our original misconception of our sense of self or feeling of mind, right? So this motivation is not the best according to the Mahayana's view. I just said that, this is a group, the Mahayana Buddhist group. So that means like you have to understand the Mahayana's view. Everything depends on your motivation. So if you have this kind of motivation, just I said, then your motivation is not the best. Because when you practice, for example, patience, generosity, discipline, and all the other virtues with this misconception of self, then your motivation is not pure because it is based on the selfishness. But beyond this motivation, of course, everything is very pure, genuine. So, usually, I think beginners are concerned with their own practice and their own, development, even if they're doing Mahayana practice. If they start in having thought like this, their practice actually become a Hinayana practice. It's not Mahayana practice, right? But if you have a bodhicitta motivation and commitment when you practice, then I think your practice is very beneficial. Even though if you always think that, oh, my practice is not good, my practice is not enough, I'm not good practitioner, you always think when you practice, I am me, just as I said, right? You don't have that kind of motivation. Oh, my practice is good or bad. Doesn't matter. My motivation is pure. If I have good practice, if I don't have good practice, it's for all this kind of motivation, Mahayana's motivation, then it doesn't matter. Your practice is good or not. Your practice is really beneficial. If you don't have that kind of motivation, even though you feel your practice is really good, but your practice has become a Hinayana. I mean, it's nothing wrong, but it's not the best. Because through Hinayana practice, there's no genuine liberation. You can't get that. So the attitude of Bodhisattva is not to look for enlightenment for oneself alone, right? But enlightenment for all beings, all living beings. So the Bodhisattva vow embodies the realization of the Mahayana, motivation of the Mahayana. So this enlightened attitude comes from the understanding that all beings have the same goal, which is freedom, which is happiness. Not just happiness, but the genuine happiness. Bodhicitta is like a beautiful flower. At the beginning of your path, bodhicitta is like a seed of the freedom or seed of liberation, enlightenment. And in the middle of your path, bodhicitta is like water. It's very important. That makes your seed of enlightenment grow. And finally, bodhicitta is like the perfect temperature, right? That will ripen the fruit of enlightenment. So the first and then middle and at the end, bodhicitta, you cannot separate whatever you practice. You need bodhicitta. So therefore, without bodhicitta mind, there is no Mahayana path. Without bodhicitta, we are actually not walking towards any fruition of enlightenment without bodhicitta mind. For this reason, the Mahayana path emphasized generating bodhicitta at the beginning of your journey until you attain enlightenment. For this reason, that is now I would like to emphasize some teachings on the action bodhicitta. For example, think about discipline and patience. These two are very important. We have 6 parameters, 6 perfections, but among the discipline and patience, I think the most important for your practicing bodhicitta. First, discipline. The teachings on discipline are avoiding negative actions. When I say actions, you have to understand that there are 3 actions: physical action, mental action, verbal, body, speech, and mind actions, right? So avoiding negative actions, which is diminishing all the activity of body, speech, and mind that will harm yourself and harm others. Discipline also like doing positive actions, such as practicing bodhicitta and doing whatever positive actions you can, either directly through practicing action bodhicitta or indirectly through practicing the aspiration bodhicitta. No matter how small or insignificant they may seem. This is very important, right? Avoiding negative actions, doing something good, small or big. So that is the discipline, practice in bodhicitta, discipline, practice in bodhicitta. And then more important, the next is the bodhicitta teachings on patience. This is very difficult to practice, but also very important to practice if you want to develop the bodhicitta mind. Patience, whenever someone does something to harm you, you should try to be patient. And in order to be patient, you have to think about the acceptance. That is the essence of the bodhicitta practice of patience. If you can accept all others' harmful actions, or if you can accept your negative actions, then it is easy to change. First, of course, you have to recognize your actions. Then you have to accept and then change. So this practice makes you relax and allow yourself to grow. I always say that, you remember? You have to learn about giving and receiving and growing, these 3 things. Giving, if you practice giving and receiving, that means actually you are growing. So when we talk about patience, you might not like what other people are doing, you might not like what other people are saying, and you might not like their actions, But once again, you have to accept them for your improvement, for your growth of bodhicitta mind. Therefore, you should be excited about the opportunity to practice patience. It's difficult, but think like, oh, I have the opportunity to learn to be patient. So then this person is given you a great opportunity to practice the patient bodhicitta. That's what bodhisattvas do. Do you think bodhisattvas are never angry? Of course, they are angry. They are angry. But the point is, bodhisattvas never keep their anger in their bodhicitta mind. I always say that, of course, you can get angry each other, you can fight each other, you can disagree each other, you can dislike each other, no problem at all. But you cannot keep your anger in your mind continually. Keep anger your mind. That means you don't have bodhicitta mind. You are not going to, get any or the patient practice patient bodhicitta. You are not practice patient bodhicitta. So you have to let your anger go and remember your bodhicitta mind. So we Tibetans say that wherever you have friends, that is your country, something like that. Wherever you receive love, it is your home. So this is your country. This is your home. You belong to this Mahayana group and this spiritual community or spiritual Sangha. Means you are making a journey together, not only for this life, but life after life, until you attain enlightenment. So the teachings of the Tantric teaching always say, like, you are like a butter lamp. You see the butter, the flame, and then lamp wick. These three start together and finish together, like that. So you are making this journey and making this karmic connection and taking, this Mahayana path. So journey all the way to enlightenment, right? So keep in harmony with each other is the foundation of bodhicitta mind, is the foundation of practice bodhicitta. Last time when I wrote it a few, Bodhicitta Sangha is nothing without harmony. So therefore, as you know, from the Buddhist point of view, if you are accumulating negative karma, for example, if you make other people suffer, or if you make other people angry, or whatever harmful things you are doing, if you don't stop accumulating that karma, you will never become a good person. You will never become a good practitioner. So, what you need to do is recognize your harmful actions and change them. You need to change your actions through practice of bodhicitta. That is the whole point. That is the part of bodhicitta practice. Okay? Very important. Discipline and patience in order to practice bodhicitta. Another important point is in order to practice Dharma, Mahayana teaching, you should have patience with your practice. You should be patient when you are learn something that is difficult to understand or that is difficult to practice. Sometimes I think people have no patience with their meditation, because sometimes when you meditate, not sometimes, generally, when you meditate, you don't really notice anything, It seems nothing is really changing or developing or happening, Then you think, oh, am I wasting my time? So there's my meditation is nothing. I don't see any good things, benefit, So then you are unhappy with your meditation, with your practice. So you have to be patient, in order to grow your practice. Most of the time, your practice is not good. That's fine, right? As long as you try to practice with patience, then fine. Eventually grow, for sure. So I think this is what I think, you should base your mind on the practice of patience. Understand? Based your mind on the practice of patience. And based your practice of patience on a bodhicitta mind. So these two, keep in mind. If you really understand the benefits of bodhicitta, then you're ready to take the vows, bodhisattva vows, and you're ready to practice Mahayana. Now, what is a bodhisattva vow? You have to understand that. What is bodhisattva? I'm going to take bodhisattva vow today. What is bodhisattva vow? It is the commitment to put others before oneself. Not easy. Think about it. It is commitment to put other before oneself. It is commitment to learn to be patient with oneself and others. It is a commitment to put the teachings into practice. It is the commitment to take the bodhisattva path. Bodhisattva vow, the vow actually, is nothing other than your commitment. So these commitments are very important. So taking the bodhisattva vow is a real commitment based on the realization of the suffering of oneself and others. This is different than taking the refuge vow. As you know, taking the refuge vow is related to the ordinary level, and your commitment is that when you take the refuge vow, you are not going to be unfaithful to 3 jewels. Easy, right? That's your commitment. That's your refuge vow. But taking the bodhisattva vow is more than that. That's why taking bodhisattva vow is an advanced level. Means because of all of these commitments, ordinary people can make these commitments. That's why, as I said, as soon as you take the bodhisattva vow, you are born into the family of the bodhisattvas. And you are become a child of Buddha once you have the bodhisattva vow because of these commitments. Now, think about those commitments, and then this is your motivation for bodhisattva vow. Very important. You have the best motivation when you take the vows. So the motivation will be, you say, to lead others to happiness and to liberate them from suffering. And in order to do that, first you say, I need to attain liberation. Such is the commitment I make today. That's your motivation. when you take the Bodhisattva, if you want to take Bodhisattva. Just as Bodhisattvas have attained liberation in the same way, following their example, liberation for the benefits of all living beings. So this is the commitment. This is the motivation. This is the Bodhisattva vow. So you want to attain liberation, and the reason is to benefits of all living beings. So without the Bodhisattva vow and without the Bodhicitta mind, it is impossible to reach your goal. If the mind has the Bodhisattva vow, meaning all of these commitments, then your body, your speech will also spontaneously adopt positive conduct, adopt positive actions because of your commitments. That's why these commitments are very important. That's why you become a, child of Buddha. You become a Bodhisattva family. So when you make this vow, you follow the same path followed by the Bodhisattva, past Bodhisattvas. So the Bodhisattvas in the past have taken these steps. And of course, you too can do so. So that's why you take the vows. The reason why I need to take the vows. That's why I'm saying, like, maybe you're ready today, maybe not. We'll see. So now then, who may take the vows? Second question, third question, right? There are at least 3 conditions in order to take the vow, Bodhisattva vow. First, of course, is a person who takes the Bodhisattva vow must belong to the Mahayana family, which is understanding the benefit of bodhicitta. Not only that, you have faith and aspiration to practice bodhicitta. That's the sign. That's the sign. Otherwise, am I belong to Mahayana family? It depends how much you understand, how much you value bodhicitta mind or faith or aspiration to practice. If you have that, you're very excited practice bodhicitta and have faith. That means, that shows, you belong to Mahayana family. That's one condition. And then the second condition is, of course, you must also take refuge, the refuge vow in 3 jewels, because, of course, refuge is the foundation of all the vows. No problem, you have that. And then third condition is you must have practiced bodhicitta before taking the vow and have had some experience from it. So if you have these 3, then probably you're ready to take the vows. So how can you know if you're ready to take the Bodhisattva vow? If you, again, greatly value bodhicitta, and if you see the benefit and have the confidence to practice bodhicitta. See, that's the main condition, reason, then you are ready to take the vows. If you have that, then you should take the vows, because the vow, Bodhisattva vow, helps you improve and protect you from harming others. So the more selfishness you see within yourself, the more you must be determined to take the Bodhisattva vow. So now you understand what the Bodhisattva vow is, and who can take the vow, and what are the conditions required to take the vow, right? So now I will give you the Bodhisattva vow. So if you think you are not ready to take the vow, then you don't have to, right? Just sit there and listen and watch it, Otherwise, if you think you're ready, then please take it. And I received the Bodhisattva Vow. Many different teachers, especially in Kanchen Jigme Panso, he gives the Bodhisattva Vow at least once a year. And before you take the vow, also there are two rules that are very important to understand. I will tell you this. Also, this helps you that you're ready. Then you will see if you're ready to take the vow or not, right? So these two rules, actually many rules, but these two rules, very important. The first rule is not to reject any beings from your bodhicitta mind. Once again, not to reject any beings from your bodhicitta mind. What does it mean? If someone does something to displease you, then you consider this person an enemy. And from now on, I will do nothing for this person. And I will never aid this person when the opportunity arises. That means then you reject this person from your bodhicitta mind. Again, this doesn't mean that you cannot temporarily distance yourself from someone who is harming you. If you do not sort of currently have the capacity to help someone, it is not breaking your vow to step away. You only break this vow if you forsake someone for eternity. Then you have broken the vow. Because you have taken the commitments to attain liberation for help all beings, which means never being separate from an attitude of bodhicitta and to benefit others without ever rejecting a single being from your mind. That's the rule. If you can do that, and if you take the vow, you reject person or whatever being, then you lose your bodhisattva vow. You don't have. And remember, again, that doesn't mean that you cannot get angry, right? You can get angry, no problem. You cannot reject. You cannot keep anger in your mind. So think about that rule. If you cannot do it, you don't have to take bodhisattva vow. Second rule is, they said, abandoning the Dharma or abandoning the heart of enlightenment. This means abandoning the Vajrayana, Mahayana, or Hinayana teachings completely, and you're thinking that, oh, there are no benefits from these teachings at all, and I'm not going to practice at all. I don't think we have that problem, right? If you have this kind of thoughts, then you lose the bodhisattva vow. Because bodhisattva, what is bodhisattva vow? What is bodhicitta mind? It's actually attain liberation, enlightenment, right? In order to reach enlightenment, you need Dharma, you need teaching, you need to practice. In order to practice, you need teachings. So if you abandon in Dharma, then of course you have no bodhicitta vows. Understand? Two rules. Practice two things, discipline and patience. And then keep these two rules, then completely, and then that you are 100% ready to take the vows. If you can't do that, then you are not ready. So think about it. And now for the vows, generally speaking, there are two different kinds of ceremonies for taking the Bodhisattva vow. Today we are going to, I often receive the Bodhisattva vow, this ceremony, this ritual. Today we're going to use the ceremony for the Bodhisattva vow in the tradition of the profound view of Nagarjuna. Nagarjuna, right? This means in this tradition, the vows of Bodhisattva in aspiration and action Bodhicitta are taken together. So once you take the Bodhisattva vow, that means you have aspiration Bodhisattva vow, Bodhicitta vow, the action Bodhicitta vow that we're going to take together, right? And this ritual has three different parts: the preparation, the main part, and then conclusion. So the first preparation, when taking the Bodhisattva vow, you should have in it for the sake of all beings. I'm going to take the Bodhisattva vow because there are two reasons. Actually, I give you very simple and easy to understand two reasons. First, temporarily, if I take Bodhisattva vow, which means all of that commitment, I can grow my mind and develop kindness through practice bodhicitta. Temporary, one reason. And then ultimately, I have the potential to attain liberation. So I said, without bodhisattva vow, without bodhicitta mind, it's impossible to reach enlightenment. So that's why. So now, that's your motivation, okay? Before you take the bodhisattva vow. Now, correct your motivation. What we do, we should recite the 4 measurable prayers one time. That makes you correct your motivation together, okay? You ready? May all sentient beings have happiness in the cause of the happiness. May they be free from suffering and in the cause of the suffering. May they be part from the sublime bliss that is free from suffering. May they be in a state of equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those in the near form. One time is fine, I think. Correct your motivation. Now, then we have, before you are making the request to the teacher to give you the Bodhisattva vow, you need to offer mandala, for giving the Bodhisattva vow. So we should recite the mandala prayer one time together, page 2, part 1, offering the mandala to the gurus. Ready? The earth announced with perfumed water and strewn with flowers. Mountain Meru in the 4 continents, ornament with the sun and the moon. By offering them, visualize as a Buddha field. May all beings enjoy this pure realm. Tang Guru Rana Mandala Paja Menga Sameta Saparana Samai Hong. Very good. Now we have the supplication prayer. And in this prayer, we are sort of making a request to the teachers who give us Bodhisattva vow. So you are asking the teacher to please give me the Bodhisattva vow and allow me to take the commitment of the Bodhisattva vow awakening, So this is the supplication prayer. Grant us supreme bodhicitta that turns us away from the path to lower realms, that shows us the path to higher realms, and leads us to where there is neither birth and death.
Grant us supreme bodhicitta that turns us away from the path to the lower realms, that shows us the path to the higher realms, and leads us to where there is neither Grant us supreme bodhicitta that turns us away from the path to the lower realms, that shows us the path to the higher realms, and leads us to where there is neither birth nor death.
Okay, very good. Now we have three different subsections again. The first, the general sort of benefits of bodhicitta. So this is very important to understand. Second, the specific benefit of bodhicitta. This is about the different between aspiration and application bodhicitta. You understand that. And then third, we have the preciousness of those who have a bodhicitta mind. So this means like if you take the Bodhisattva vow and you have bodhicitta mind, the teachers always say that, your body might be living in this impure samsara, but your mind will experience happiness, right? So that's why they call the preciousness of those who have a bodhicitta mind. So we have three sections here. So we'll say one time each prayers together, okay? Contemplated only through the age the Buddha has in its great benefit. It helps boundless mental of beings depart easily to supreme joys. If bodhicitta is born in that moment, even those who suffer, chained in the prison of samsara, are children of the Buddhas, revealed all the worlds of God and humans. Bodhicitta, the enlightenment mind, is knowing it brief to have to expect, is spreading Bodhicitta in intention. And Action Bodhichitta practices the difference
between wishing to go and setting out upon a journey. Similarly, the wise should understand the different stages of these two.
I bow
For all those in whom this most precious sacred mind is born,
I take refuge in those great sources of joy, who bring grace even those who harm them. Okay, very good. Now we have the 7 branches. And all of this from way of the way of the Bodhisattva, way of the Bodhisattva by Shantadewas. So accumulation merit. There are many ways we can make offering, but for us today, the best way to accumulate merit is to use this 7 branch prayer. We have here says 3 different purities. The purity of motivation, first purity of motivation, which means which is the bodhicitta. Then we have purity of objects, which are the 3 jewels, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. And then the purity of offerings, which is the offer all of these good things in the universe to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, so that the precious bodhicitta will arise in your mind. So now we have these 7 branches, and we'll say together one time. In order that I might adopt this precious jewel of mind, I now make the most excellent of offering to the Buddhas, to the sacred Dharma, the most rare and to the Buddha's children. This is prostration to all the Buddhas of the 3 times, to the Dharma, Supreme Assembly, whose bodies equal space. I bow down with respect. Confession. All the misdeeds that I have done, all the many faults that afflict me, even the completely unbearable ones, I openly confess before the guides of all beings, rejoicing, Full of delight, I rejoiced in the choice of virtuous Bodhisattva, in the action that benefit of all beings,
and those that lead to supreme bliss.
Oh, this is the request in the teachings, right? With joined hands, I pray, Buddhas and introductions, light the lamp of Dharma, for those of us lived by ignorance and darkness of suffering. Okay, requesting the Buddha not to pass into nirvana.
With
Next, I pray, Buddhas who wish to do not leave us wandering in bliss. Remind and the last dedication through or through all virtues, I have made the suffering of all beings. Okay, now we have main section, which is Bodhisattva Vow. But before you take the vow, you offer again your body, your positions, and your virtues to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and teachers, because we are actually so attached to these three things, right? Body, possessions, and virtues. So if you offer that completely to the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, so that the precious Bodhicitta will arise in your mind. So then we have to recite this one time together. My body and all that I possess, all of my virtues, I dedicate them with regret to benefit good beings. Very good. Now, next is the vow. We are requesting the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and our teachers with devotion. Please think of me and turn your wisdom mind towards me for the vow. So we have to recite this one time. All you Buddhas who dwell in the 10 directions, all you great Bodhisattvas on the 10 levels, all you great teachers and Bhaja holders, turn your mind toward me, I pray. Okay, now good. That's enough. One time. Well, it says 3 times. Maybe we should say 3 times. Okay. All you Buddhas who dwell in the 10 directions, all you great Bodhisattvas on the 10 levels, all you great teachers, the Vajra hoarders, turn your mind towards me, I pray. All you Buddhas who dwell in the 10 directions, all you great Bodhisattvas on the 10 levels, all you great teachers, the Vajra hoarders, turn your mind towards me, I pray. Very good. Now we have the refuge prayer, because of course we can't take this Bodhisattva vow without the refuge vow. So therefore, before I take the Bodhisattva vow, you must first take the refuge vow, so that you have the foundation for the Bodhisattva vow. So we say refuge prayer, I think 3 times. Until I realize the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddhas, and likewise in the Dharma and the assembly of Bodhisattvas. Until I realize them,
I take refuge in the Buddhas, and likewise in the Dharma, and the assembly of Bodhisattvas. Until I realize the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddhas, and likewise in the Dharma, and the assembly of Bodhisattvas.
Very good. Okay. Now the Bodhisattva vow. I want you to again, make sure correct your motivation again for the vow, because it's very important. So you see, according to Buddhism, we always say, right, wherever, everywhere there is a space, there are beings. Everywhere there are beings, there is suffering. Everywhere there is suffering, negative karma is accumulated. But right now, I don't have the power to help them and liberate them from suffering and make them happy. So, from now on, starting today, I commit myself to attain perfect liberation, and I'm going to practice bodhicitta for all beings. That is your motivation. Okay? With that motivation, now we will begin the ceremony with the 3 prostrations. Please, you do use 3 prostrations. Stand up and then do 3 prostrations. Don't lose that motivation. And then 3 prostrations. Okay. When you're done, now you need to place both your knees on the ground. Okay? Join your hands at your heart and respect. And it shows devotion, right, to the 3 jewels. Your heart, and then you repeat 3 times the words of the vow of Bodhicitta, and you repeat after me. This is the same, during the 3rd recitation, at the end of the prayer, you will have fully received the vows, which is, you have to remember those commitments. So those commitments is your vows. Nothing other than Bodhisattva. There is nothing other than your commitments. So you have to commit. You have to the end of this prayer. You have to remember those. Just as I said, those commitments. If you are going to take Bodhisattva vow today, so that's your commitment. That's your Bodhisattva vow. That's your the blessings from the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and teachers. So at the end of this prayer, you have to make those commitments and remember those commitments. Okay? So are you ready? I'm going to say, and then you repeat after me. Just as the Buddhas of the past, arose the Bodhicitta, and established themselves by stages. And the training of a Bodhisattva. Just so, for the benefit of beings. I will arouse Bodhicitta. And likewise, I will train. Progressively in those practices. Okay, second. Just as the Buddhas of the past. Rose the Bodhicitta. And established themselves by stages. And the training of a Bodhisattva. Just so, for the benefit of beings. I will arouse Bodhicitta.
I will arouse bodhicitta.
And likewise I will train.
And likewise I will train.
Progressively in those practices.
Progressively in those practices.
Okay, last one. Just as the Buddhas of the past
Just as the Buddhas of the past
rose the bodhicitta
aroused bodhicitta
and established themselves by stages,
and established themselves by stages
and the training of a bodhisattva,
in the training of a bodhisattva,
just so for the benefit of beings,
just so for the benefit of beings,
I will arouse bodhicitta,
I will arouse bodhicitta.
and likewise I will train
And likewise I will train.
progressively in those practices.
Progressively in those practices.
Okay, very good. Now you receive the vows. Now you need again 3 prestation, please. Okay, now you can sit down. Now we have the conclusion, the last part, which is cultivation of joy for oneself and joy for others, and we have offering the mandala. So those 3 parts are the last conclusion. So now first, cultivation of joy for oneself. This is because now you fully received the Bodhisattva vow, so you are very happy and enjoy with your Bodhisattva vow and remember those commitments every day. So we say this cultivate joy for oneself. It says by reciting 1 time. Very good. Today, my life has become meaningful.
Having well attained this human existence, I have been born in the family of Buddhas, and now am one of the Buddha's children. Thus, whatever actions I do from now on must be actions befitting my family. Never shall I do anything to disgrace this faultless, noble family. Just like a blind person discovering a priceless jewel in a heap of trash, so through this unfortunate coincidence, Bodhicitta has been born within me.
Okay. So that's a very nice example. Just like a blind person discovering a priceless jewel in trash, garbage. It's impossible, right? But so now you have Bodhisattva vow. So that is exactly like that. As an ordinary like people like us, lots of ignorance is like a blind person, but we have fortunately bodhicitta mind, experience of bodhicitta mind, and then Bodhisattva Vow. So that's we discovering the most important and the precious jewel, or whatever we discover today. So that's you have to really remember every single day. So that's very important. This actually, I always remember this last these four lines. So it's very nice to understand, or maybe you should memorize these things. Now, anyway, they cultivate joy for others, and we recite this one time together. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, I invite all beings to the state of enlightenment.
At the feast of the temple of ultimate bliss, may the guests, gods, demigods, and others rejoice.
Very good. Now we have the offering mandala again to the girls, because the precious, it says, right? Precious bodhicitta has sort of arisen perfectly in your mind. So that means you again offering the mandala to our teachers, because for giving the Bodhisattva vow, and for their kindness, for their the gratitude, right? So we have to recite, we have to all again, like our body, our possessions, our virtues, and then all these good things in the universe we offer all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and our teachers, because now we received the Bodhisattva vow. So offering mandala to the gurus. So I recite one time together. The earth anointed with perfumed water, stream with forward, mountain mirror, four continents ornamented with the sun and moon. By offering them visualize Buddha film. May all rejoice pure ground. Dang Guru Rana Buddha Minga Samada Saparana Samayi Ahum. Okay. Now again, you become member of the Bodhisattva family. You are from this time on the path of the Mahayana, and the family of Bodhisattvas, and you are purified from many past negative acts, and you have accumulated much merit. As soon as you make those commitments and keep those commitments in your mind, then you really you purified many past negative actions and negative thoughts and negative karmas. Even just that moment, you remember the commitment, you're making the commitment. That is the benefit of the Bodhisattva vow. I'm not talking about practicing like hours and hours so that you can purify your negative karma. I'm not talking that. It's just a 1 second. Once you make this commitment, you already purified so many negative karmas. And then that's why you become a bodhisattvas and child of Buddha. So that's the great benefits, to keep the commitments and take the Bodhisattva vow, So therefore, you must often remind yourself of this extremely sort of great benefit of bodhicitta. So, it is very, that's why it's very important to renew the vow at least once every day, if you can. Or if you want, renew the vows like many times, as many as you want. But at least once every day, you need to recite the prayer called, this prayer, a daily practice to renew the Bodhisattva vow. It is on our website. If you don't have those, I'm sure you already actually every morning you recite, you practice this, right? But if you're not, you have to. So it's on our website, and you can download it and whatever. And you have to recite it, at least one time a day. Usually morning, whenever, just right after you wake up, and then you renew this vow. You say the prayer with making those commitments every day commitment, those everyday commitment, and then recite these commitments, right? Recite these commitments. I would say like not that's same, but recite the commitment prayer. Okay, that's daily practice to renew bodhisattva. That means like you recite this commitment prayer in front of Buddha and bodhisattvas and teachers, and then remember your bodhisattva vow, right? Because the purpose of taking the bodhisattva vow is what? To develop in your bodhicitta mind, right? Bodhicitta mind, what is bodhicitta mind? Gentle, you are a kinder person, become a very kind person, tolerant person. Again, this practice patience, very important. Practice patience, very, very important. Very, very important. I just told you many times, this is very important. How to be patient, you understand. I already told you, right? And then if you have no patience, that means really you're not growing, you're not developing your bodhicitta mind. So therefore, if you say these commitment prayers in front of Buddhas, Bodhisattva, and teachers, and then if you don't keep those commitments, you get angry, you keep that anger in your mind, that means like you are lying, to those Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And even though we say in the prayer, we say, right, I'm become a family of Bodhisattvas, I'm become a child of Buddha, but you're not. Because you are not making this commitment, you're not keep this commitment. If you do, then of course you are. So today is like from today, if you keep this commitment in your mind, you changed your name. You changed your name, everything. You changed your mind, become a Buddha, Bodhisattvas. Change your mind, become a Bodhisattva, Sattva's mind, Bodhicitta mind. Change your name, become a bodhisattva, bodhisattva something, your name. I'm not going to give you a name today, though, too many. But sometimes if we have a small group, then the teacher gives you bodhisattva's name. But so you change your name, you change your mind. So just as I said, it's very important, those commitments, okay? So don't forget those commitments, and renew the Bodhisattva vow means to remember those commitments. So these prayers really help you, right? Help you when you say the prayers, then you remember those commitments. So then easy to be, to practice patience and all of that, discipline. Usually we say, okay, wisdom, the perfect of wisdom, and then these are very important. But I think is for us, like this group, I think Action Bodhichitta. You are going to practice not only Aspiration Bodhichitta. Aspiration Bodhichitta, we always say this for immeasurable prayers like this every day. But we need more than that. So, which is Action Bodhichitta. Action Bodhichitta is 6 paramita, 6 perfections, right? Generosity, discipline, all this. But among those, I think most important, discipline and patience. Understand? So then you are practicing kind of the action bodhicitta, the application, right? Application bodhicitta, because this 6 parameters. So very important. Now we have the aspiration and dedication prayer. Okay, then we're done. Where is it? Okay. May Supreme Precious Bodhicitta take birth where it is not risen, where it is risen, it never win, but continue to grow forevermore. Is the courageous Manjushri understood? Just like Samandabhata is well. I now dedicate all this virtue, following their example, one and all. May I obtain the ceremonies of appearance of existence. May I meet the Dharma immediately after taking birth and have the freedom to practice perfectly. May I please the Sublime Guru. Day and night dedicate myself to the Dharma. By realizing the Dharma and practicing its innermost essence, may I cross the ocean of conditions. May I teach the sublime Dharma perfectly and never become weary, tired of benefiting others in samsara by my own impartial and all-encompassing activities towards others. May all attain enlightenment together. Oh, very good. Thank you very much. Can't see. Everything is clear? Any questions?
Is tolerant aspiration or
application? Most time it's aspiration, because you are visualizing, giving, receiving, right? Giving, receiving. You are actually, it's just in your mental level, right? I mean, like you're in mind. You're not doing anything. So most time, I think I would say aspiration practice. Very good foundation, though. In order to practice application, you need this kind of open mind. Make your mind really big, open, and kind, and thinking others rather than yourself all the time. Yep.
Every day you said you want us to do the main practice of renewing our vows.
Main practice means whatever you practice. Right now you guys practice Bodhisattva, but don't forget Bodhicitta. Then after that you practice Mandala, but with Bodhicitta. Bodhicitta mind, the motivation makes you Mahayana practitioner. You practice Mandala alone without Bodhicitta mind, then I said you become a Hinayana practitioner. I mean, nothing wrong, but Mahayana is better than Hinayana. I mean, I can't say better, right? Otherwise, these Hinayana practitioners don't like me.
She's talking about renewing the vow on a daily basis that we mentioned.
Of course, definitely.
The main practice daily, every day.
Yes, once every day, wake up. I do it like morning. Before you practice, say the prayers, renew your bodhicitta vow, and then whatever you practice, you can practice. Then dzogchen practice, preliminary practice. See, you have this bodhisattva vow and bodhicitta mind, and then eventually, right after that, you practice dzogchen. So that means you are really, dzogchen is the combination of compassion and nature mind. So I said bodhicitta is you start when you start the Mahayana path, you take that away all the way to enlightenment, the last. Once you become an enlightened person, then you don't have to think about bodhicitta mind anymore. Then you have to give up everything, even though like Buddhism. What is Buddhism? So you take a boat, and then you reach the other shore, the other side of the river. Then you don't need boat. So when you get enlightened, you don't need bodhicitta, you don't need Buddhism, you don't need teachings, nothing. You are there.
But practically speaking, in terms of the renewing the vow, we're not talking about doing this whole ritual.
No, that's a little bit different.
Buddhas of the past aroused bodhicitta.
You should go to the website and the prayers there. So then it's very easy. You start there and you finish. This is actually I wrote, based on the Dr. Rinpoche's Bodhisattva Vow. When I was in Germany, I wrote this. So this is specific, give the Bodhisattva Vow ritual. So you don't have to read this one, okay? Yep, you have already. You have that already. Very good.
Which one? Page in our binders. Yeah, all right. Page 2 in our binders.
Okay, thank you very much. Next week we have the one-day retreat, mindfulness. Very good for bodhicitta.
Thank you, Khenpo.
You are welcome. Thank you for coming. Very nice to see all of you again.